Hey, adrenaline junkies. Welcome to Mind Rush. Get ready to dive into heart-pounding chases, jaw-dropping action, and the most thrilling moments caught on camera. Let's get your heart racing. On July 10th, 2025, in Orlando, Florida, troopers spotted a gray Mercedes GLC flying down SR 408 at 92 miles per hour in a 60. With its windows tinted darker than a cave at midnight, the car drew attention fast. When the trooper lit up the blues and siren, the driver, later identified as Darius Lowe, decided stopping wasn't on his to-do list. Instead, he stomped the gas, kicking off a dangerous high-speed pursuit.
Utility vehicle 2020 model expires 10/31 of 25 and it's 4 on 29. So thanks for depth auto bearing location on my car.
Lowe weaved through traffic like he was trying to qualify for a video game bonus round, passing on shoulders, cutting off cars, and pushing the speedometer all the way to 135 miles per hour. Every move risked turning SR 408 into a scrapyard, and troopers knew this one needed to end quick.
Traffic over pursuit progress.
Hold on, Mario. Go when you stop.
Single 4 at Pine.
Alright, get ready for phone stop.
54 pointed if you can.
Hold on, Mario. Hold on.
The chase ended when Lowe clipped the median, slowing the Mercedes enough for a PIT maneuver to pin him against the guardrail. He tried running on foot, but it didn't last long. Moments later, he was in cuffs. A search turned up fentanyl pills, stacks of cash, totaling nearly $3,900, and a fake Glock torch lighter inside the car, along with marijuana tucked in the console. Darius Lowe was charged with fleeing and eluding law enforcement possession of fentanyl, with intent to distribute. Possession of marijuana, driving on inmate release, status, reckless driving, speeding, and traffic violations. From blasting down SR 408 at 135 to tossing fentanyl by a tree, Lowe went from fast lane to holding cell in record time. Already on release for fleeing police once before, this rerun ended the same way, in custody with a longer rap sheet than he started with. In the early morning hours of September 27, 2022, troopers working traffic control along Georgia 204 spotted a stolen gold Mercedes C23 rolling into a construction zone. When deputies tried to pull it over, the driver ignored commands and instead pressed down on the gas, passing a pilot car inside the work zone and sparking a dangerous pursuit.
Yeah, we're still going. Yep, those are sticks. He's 1080.
1080.
With speeds topping 100 miles per hour in a 55 zone, the Mercedes weaved down the highway, brake-checking troopers and forcing them to slam on their ABS systems to avoid collisions. Inside were 3 occupants, a female driver and 2 male passengers. Stop sticks failed to bring the chase to a halt, leaving troopers to stay on the suspect's bumper as she pushed recklessly ahead, showing no regard for traffic or safety.
Lock them in, 911.
With the suspects driving becoming more dangerous by the minute, troopers used multiple pit maneuvers to stop the car. The rear passenger bolted into the woods, while the driver and front passenger tried to flee on foot. The driver didn't make it far. A quick takedown brought her into custody, while the others slipped away. The driver, identified as Melissa Smith, was charged with felony fleeing and eluding theft by receiving stolen property, possession of methamphetamine, driving under the influence. Drugs. Possession of drug-related objects. Multiple traffic offenses. What started with a stolen Mercedes in a construction zone ended with a wrecked car, a messy foot chase, and a driver in handcuffs. Deputies weren't buying the wild stories she spun afterward, and with meth, needles, and warrants all in play, her excuses ran out as fast as the Mercedes did. On June 28, 2025, a Pleasant Prairie officer tried to stop a driver for a simple stop sign violation. Instead of pulling over, the driver hit the gas and led officers on a pursuit that topped 100 miles per hour, crossing into Illinois.
Good sticks, southbound from 95th, right tires. Starting to deflate here. I'm gonna try to get in front, slow down. Box again.
Officers deployed stop sticks multiple times, and while the first attempts failed, the chase stayed hot and dangerous. At one point, the suspect even hit several squad cars before pushing on.
Contact. 2-9 intentional contact. 2 squads have been hit. We need to end this. Two 9 stopped here.
This is the Pleasant Prairie Police. All occupants of the Honda Civic, you are under arrest. You disobey our commands, the police dogs will bite you. Do you understand?
Anyone else in the car? No, just me. Keep coming back. Drop to your knees.
Finally, a successful tire deflation brought the car to a halt, and officers boxed the driver in. He was taken into custody without further incident. The suspect was charged with felony fleeing, eluding 5 counts of first-degree reckless endangering safety, hit-and-run possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, OWI, multiple traffic citations. One ignored stop sign turned into a multi-agency pursuit and a whole lot of charges. On June 9, 2025, deputies in DeSoto County tried to stop a black Dodge Ram on Highway 70. The truck wasn't just any pickup. Investigators had been tracking it for weeks, suspecting it was tied to the theft of a $98,000 skid steer. Behind the wheel was Yam B. Pereira Nunez, a convicted felon with an expired license, and deputies weren't about to let him slip away.
Second to make that turn.
220.
He recovered back. It's going westbound on 731.
10-4, vehicle recovered back, going westbound on 731.
Hit it again, Zach. Don't do that again. Speed 75 miles an hour.
Speed 75 miles per hour.
Zach, back off of it.
Instead of stopping, Nunez floored it. The Ram tore down Highway 70, hauling heavy equipment while weaving dangerously through traffic. The Florida Highway Patrol joined in, and what began as an equipment theft investigation was now a full-blown pursuit. At speeds like this, every turn of the wheel could have spelled disaster.
County line, just 14.
10-4. Zach, is that your tire or is that his? Zach, we're going to be coming up to another intersection that's going to be a hard left. Just be prepared.
1867.
You got a car coming, is it? What are you doing?
We're also for the next unit. We'll get the vehicle before we get alley.
Hit it. Signal 4, roll with EMS. Hit it.
Troopers moved in for a PIT maneuver. The Ram spun, lost control, and rolled violently. When the dust settled, the vehicle was destroyed and the chase was over. Nunez did not survive the crash. Charges, if he had lived. Had Yam Nunez survived, he would have faced grand theft, $98,000 skid steer, grand theft of a motor vehicle, Dodge Ram, fleeing to elude law enforcement, high-speed pursuit, driving with expired suspended license, possession of stolen property, reckless driving, endangering life and property. What began as the theft of a skid steer turned into a full-throttle pursuit that ended in tragedy. For investigators, the stolen property was recovered, but for Nunez, his long criminal record came to a final stop on Highway 70. On June 8, 2025, troopers in Lee County got several calls about a red Ford F-150 swerving all over I-75 near mile marker 123. Drivers said it was bouncing across lanes and even creeping onto the shoulder. Trooper Mates de Oca quickly spotted the truck near mile marker 127 and tried to pull it over. Instead of stopping, the driver hit the gas and the chase was on.
She stopped on the boxer.
Vehicles now headed back westbound on the shoulder.
The F-150 barreled through Daniels Parkway and 6 Mile Cypress Parkway at 90 miles per hour in a 50 zone, swerving, cutting lanes, and even hopping onto grass shoulders and sidewalks. Multiple PIT maneuvers were attempted, but the driver seemed determined to turn the truck into a rodeo show. Troopers stayed tight, waiting for the right opening to shut it down.
northbound 6 miles, speed 90. Commanders on TSS says 64 response. And tell them to get a helicopter route. 5 Good to know they have our back.
Signal 4, signal 4, signal 4. Signal 4, 1050.
Good to know they have our back. Signal 4, signal 4, signal 4. Signal 4, 1050. Fucking ass now! Get out! What I got for it? Let me see your fucking ass now! Get out! Get out! Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Out! 94 here now. Get out! Get out! I got taser, I got taser. Get out! I got taser. Car.
That chance finally came when troopers boxed in the truck, bringing it to a stop. The driver, Christina Slitter, climbed out and greeted officers with middle fingers and insults instead of compliance. Once in cuffs, she kept up the chaos, yanking at handcuffs, tossing objects, and flat out refusing commands. Christina Slitter was booked into Lee County Jail for fleeing and eluding law enforcement, driving under the influence reckless, driving threatening law enforcement officers. She also earned herself a citation for not wearing a seatbelt, because apparently safety was the only law she really didn't care about that night. From swerving down I-75 to flipping off troopers, Slitter turned a Ford F-150 into her personal demolition derby. Unfortunately for her, reckless driving and rude hand gestures don't beat a box in. On the afternoon of October 20th, 2022, U.S. Marshals requested help from Georgia State Patrol to apprehend a wanted murder suspect from Indiana. The man, identified as 36-year-old Irvin Robertson, was spotted leaving a residence in Gwinnett County and getting into his 2022 Dodge Ram. When troopers attempted a felony stop near Georgia 20 and Stanley Street, Robertson had other ideas and hit the gas.
I gotta get him stopped. Right here.
The chase quickly turned dangerous as Robertson swerved through traffic, driving the wrong way on GA20 and darting through medians. Troopers attempted multiple pit maneuvers, but Robertson managed to countersteer and keep going, showing total disregard for anyone on the road.
Careful. What's the update? Update the location.
Just a second, I haven't gone to another street yet. I'm trying to get around all these traffic. You're still on the wrong side of the road. Possible 1050 right here, maybe. Victoria Drive. He's still on the wrong side of the road. Victoria Drive. Coming up to Holly Court. Holly Court. Motorcycle. Samples Road, crossing across Samples Road. 250 Samples.
The pursuit ended at GA20 and Samples Drive when Robertson ran a red light and crashed into another motorist. After bailing from the Dodge, he sprinted toward a Walgreens parking lot, but quickly realized troopers and U.S. Marshals had him boxed in. With nowhere left to run, Robertson surrendered and was taken into custody without further incident. He was handed over to U.S. Marshals to face his outstanding murder charges in Indiana, charges handled by U.S. Marshals Service, including murder-related charges from Indiana. What began as surveillance in Gwinnett County turned into a high-speed, wrong-way chase that could have ended far worse. Instead, thanks to quick coordination between troopers and U.S. Marshals, Robertson's run ended in a parking lot instead of another state line. On November 4, 2025, troopers with the Florida Highway Patrol were alerted to a stolen 2009 Cadillac sedan barreling southbound on I-75 through Sumter County. When units attempted a traffic stop in Hernando County, the driver had other plans. Instead of slowing down, she mashed the gas and turned the highway into her own high-speed runway. The Cadillac surged past 110 miles per hour, swerving recklessly between cars and even using the shoulder like it was an express lane. Troopers kept a tight formation, calling out her every move over the radio. Each mile made it more dangerous, but they knew eventually the chance would come to shut it all down.
Westbound. They were 52. 14 Canada, right,
That chance came in Pasco County near State Road 52. A precise pit maneuver sent the Cadillac spinning, finally ending the pursuit. But the real surprise wasn't just the crash, it was the driver, who was nearly nude when she was pulled from the stolen car. Not exactly the kind of getaway outfit you'd expect at 110 miles per hour. She was booked on grand theft auto fleeing and eluding law enforcement, reckless driving, possession of methamphetamine driving with a suspended license. From speeding through Sumter to spinning out in Pasco, this stolen Cadillac turned into a spectacle. And while the suspect may have been short on clothes, troopers made sure she wasn't short on charges. On July 5, 2023, just after 1:30 in the afternoon, Atlanta officers working a crime suppression detail spotted a black Dodge Avenger that had previously fled from police. When troopers tried to pull it over, the driver, later identified as 29-year-old Raphael Washington, had no interest in stopping. Instead, he floored it, weaving through traffic and crossing over the double yellow as sirens filled the air.
Pit attempt.
With the danger mounting, troopers moved in. Using a precise PIT maneuver, they spun the Dodge into a controlled stop on Lee Street. Raphael Washington was pulled from the car at gunpoint and taken into custody without further incident. His passenger was released at the scene. Washington's charges were handled by Atlanta police, including fleeing and eluding law enforcement, reckless driving, driving on the wrong side of the road, failure to obey traffic control devices, driving with suspended registration and no insurance. From the parking lot to a pit stop, Raphael Washington turned a simple traffic stop into a reckless game of catch me if you can. Unfortunately for him, the game ended with cuffs, citations, and a tow truck. In Atlanta, ignoring lights and sirens doesn't end with applause. It ends with paperwork and court dates. On May 19, 2022, around 4:17 p.m., Arkansas State Police attempted a traffic stop on a reckless driver. Instead of pulling over, the suspect floored it, pushing speeds well into triple digits and showing no regard for anyone else on the highway. With speeds topping 114 miles per hour, the pursuit turned into a dangerous ride. The driver swerved, crossed lanes, and kept pressing harder on the gas, as if outrunning a state trooper at those speeds ever ends well. Troopers lined up the PIT maneuver and executed it with precision, spinning the suspect's car out of control. The vehicle flipped, coming to a violent stop, and the driver was quickly taken into custody. The suspect, whose name was not immediately released, faces multiple charges, including felony fleeing reckless driving, speeding 114 miles per hour in a 70-zone failure to yield to emergency lights. When you run from Arkansas State Police at 114 miles per hour, the only thing faster than your car is how quickly you end up in handcuffs. One PIT, one flip, and one trip straight to jail. On the night of May 6, 2022, Arkansas State Police were operating a checkpoint when the driver of a pickup truck decided he wanted no part of it. Instead of slowing down, the truck swerved away from troopers and took off into the night. The pursuit pushed down dark back roads with the truck swerving and speeding, trying to outmaneuver patrol units. Radios lit up with directions, while troopers stayed tight on his tail. For a driver trying to avoid a quick checkpoint stop, he sure managed to sign himself up for a much bigger problem. As the chase pressed deeper into the woods, a trooper lined up for a PIT maneuver. The hit was clean, sending the truck spinning off the road and crashing into the trees. The driver bailed out but was quickly taken into custody without further incident. Charges: felony, fleeing reckless, driving failure to yield to law enforcement, multiple traffic violations. One wrong turn away from a checkpoint turned into a trip through the Arkansas woods and straight into handcuffs. The pit stopped the truck cold, and instead of avoiding the checkpoint, the driver wound up with a full set of new charges.
Okay.
Where are you going? Stop! Right now! Stop! Stop!
On the afternoon of January 24th, 2023, a trooper responding to assist in a pursuit almost had his own crash when a white Chevy truck blew through a stop sign and nearly clipped his unit. The trooper flipped around, lit up the blues, and signaled the driver to pull over. Instead, the driver bailed out and hopped into a waiting Nissan Altima. A getaway car was in play, and now it was on.
Making a right on Lakewood Street. Left on the Baker.
The Altima tore through neighborhood streets, blowing stop signs, weaving through traffic, and even trying to cut through a private parking lot. The trooper used his push bumper to spin the car, but the suspects kept going until everyone decided to bail. Both the driver and passenger ran on foot straight into an apartment complex. If you're keeping track, that's 2 vehicles, 2 suspects, and about a dozen laws broken.
They're still going. .50 again.
With officers covering the front and back of the complex, multiple apartments were searched. The suspects weren't located, but the car told its own story. Inside, officers found suspected crack cocaine, marijuana, MDMA, 3 cell phones, and a Glock 40 caliber pistol. The car was impounded, the evidence handed over to Columbus PD Narcotics, and the suspects are still facing a long list of charges once located. Charges: felony fleeing and eluding possession of firearm by felon possession of controlled substances, crack cocaine, marijuana, MDMA, reckless driving, and multiple traffic offenses. This one had it all: a near collision, a mid-pursuit vehicle swap, foot bailouts, and a trunk load of drugs and a gun. The suspects may have slipped out the back door this time, but thanks to the state boys, the case, and their stash, isn't going anywhere. On the afternoon of July 25, 2025, Trooper Nicholas Ade was running stationary radar near the White River Bridge when a car blasted past at 73 in a posted 55. He flipped around to catch up and lit up the lights on the east side of the bridge. For a second, it looked like the driver was going to stop. Then she jumped right back into traffic and floored it.
36 County. I'm in pursuit 64 through Augusta right now. Black Hyundai, Adam King Frank, 50 William. 1037.
10-4, that's right.
The chase pressed into Augusta city limits, where Holmes hit 87 in a 40 zone, blew past other cars, and cut onto Highway 33 before diving into side streets. Sirens echoed through town as the trooper called out locations, while Holmes swerved and tried to shake him off. She even looped through neighborhood streets, looking more like a confused GPS than a getaway plan.
Turn by the convenience store here off Highway 33 North.
I'm about to convenience store, Highway 33.
Dispatch, they just rammed into me.
Just rammed into you, 409.
Turned on 12th Street.
Turned on 12th Street.
103 County, we have direction of travel.
103, I'm constantly contact with them.
I'm on 12th Street. I'm on 12th Street. They got a flat. They just hit me.
Show me your hands! Show me your hands!
When Holmes tried to duck into a driveway on 11th Street, Trooper Aide made contact, pinning her car under the carport. At gunpoint, he ordered her to crawl out through the passenger side, since her driver's door was mangled shut, and lie on the ground. She complied without a fight, and was cuffed until backup units arrived. No contraband was found in the car, and the vehicle was towed from the scene. The suspect was charged with felony fleeing, speeding 73 in a 55 and 87 in a 40, reckless driving failure to yield to emergency vehicle. What started as a routine radar stop turned into a hot lap through Augusta, complete with driveway drama and a carport finish. Holmes ended up at the Woodruff County Detention Center, proving once again that outrunning troopers in small-town Arkansas is a plan that never works out. Around 4:12 a.m. on October 3, 2020, Georgia state troopers were alerted that Jasper County, South Carolina deputies were chasing a Chevrolet Traverse that had fled from a traffic stop. The SUV crossed into Georgia on I-95 with no headlights and nearly collided with a Savannah officer's patrol car after blowing a red light. Moments later, Trooper Zachary Walker clocked the Traverse at 112 miles per hour in a 70 zone, officially taking lead in the pursuit. The SUV swerved across multiple lanes at high speed, trying to push the patrol car off the road while barreling through construction zones. With limited options for stop sticks or backup, Trooper Walker had to get creative in deciding how to bring the chase under control.
Pass him?
I have to be right at the top of the ramp, and he's right over the ramp. Get back out.
10-4 Rankin, I got him. Be southbound coming up to the 100. He just turned his lights back off. We're passing the 104 right now. I'm gonna set it in the pit. I just bit him,
Near mile marker 103, Walker executed a pit maneuver, sending the Traverse into the median, where it struck a guardrail before coming to rest. The driver, later identified as Malik McCauley, jumped out and tried to flee on foot but was caught after a short chase. The passenger, Tamisha Brown, was also taken into custody. Inside the SUV, officers discovered multiple fake IDs, stacks of credit cards with different names, fraud-related documents, cash, and even marijuana. The vehicle was seized by Pooler police for processing. Charges: felony fleeing and eluding fraud, and identity theft-related offenses, possession of marijuana traffic citations, 112 miles per hour in a 70, failure to maintain lane, no seatbelt, reckless driving. From blowing a red light with no headlights to faking identities with a bag full of fraud tools, this late-night chase had everything. Both suspects were cleared medically and booked into Chatham County Jail, proving once again that even at 4 a.m. the roads aren't empty, especially when the law's watching. On January 10, 2024, just after 2:17 p.m., Clayton County BAT units located a stolen Kia in the city of Riverdale. Deputies attempted a traffic stop, but the driver had other plans. Instead of hitting the brakes, the suspect mashed the gas and bolted, forcing deputies into yet another high-speed pursuit.
We're on East Fayetteville Road, heading towards Riverdale Road. East Fayetteville Road, heading towards Riverdale Road.
I'm saying East Fayetteville towards Riverdale Road. All units go through.
Light traffic.
Empty.
Southbound going towards Riverdale Road. Southbound to Riverdale Road.
I'm saying south of Riverdale Road.
Between 60 right now. That's the 21 still on. We're on Church Street right now. Church Street heading towards King Road.
The chase streaked through Clayton County with the Kia weaving recklessly, cutting across lanes and pushing speeds that had no business being on city streets. Sirens wailed, radios cracked with updates, and deputies stayed tight, keeping pressure on the driver. It became clear this wasn't just a joyride. This was desperation behind the wheel. Every swerve and risky move only made the suspect look more like someone auditioning for a demolition derby without the entry fee.
Still light traffic. I think it's primary, I'm behind on secondary. Going alongside the roadway, going between cars. Speed stop, 50, 60. Stop sign. That's a 20. I'm clear on the traffic. Get him off the roadway now. Get off the roadway now. Get ready. Get.
I'm clear on the 49.
Sheriff Levon Allen got on the radio with a clear order. Get the vehicle off the road. Deputies waited for their opening, then struck with precision. A textbook pit maneuver spun the Kia out and left it disabled. With the stolen car boxed in, deputies swarmed the vehicle and pulled the driver into custody. The suspect came out uninjured, but definitely out of excuses. The driver now faces several charges, including fleeing and attempting to elude law enforcement theft by receiving stolen property, reckless driving, multiple traffic violations. What started as a stolen Kia sprinting through Clayton County in August 16, 2025, Forest City, Arkansas. At 2:16 a.m., a trooper stopped a white Nissan Altima for junk hanging from the mirror and no insurance. The driver, Colby Taylor, smelled strongly of marijuana, but instead of answering, he rolled the window up and suddenly took off.
East on Broadway, turning back on Gorman. We're heading back towards Division. Adam Henry John, 92 Charles. Going east of Broadway. North on Division. TBI.
Taylor sped through Forest City streets at 60 miles per hour, cutting corners and blowing through stop signs. Officers attempted multiple pit maneuvers. The first spun him briefly, but he recovered. The second miss gave him another chance to push deeper into neighborhoods, weaving through intersections and forcing patrol units to stay close. Each sharp turn looked like it could be his last, but Taylor kept pressing forward, showing no signs of stopping.
Here's some business. My son is get ready to the again. Coming up the sheriff. Well, north on Cherry. Turning on Murray. I'm Murray. Living this city again. He's still going. Second TDI, second TDI.
Second TDI, second TDI.
On the third pit, the Altima finally spun out. Taylor jumped from the still-moving car, trying to run, but officers chased him down within seconds. Even after capture, he resisted and spat at officers before being taken to the ground a second time. A firearm was found in the vehicle, and with Taylor being a convicted felon, that added serious federal weight to the case. Taylor was charged with felony fleeing by vehicle resisting arrest assault on law enforcement, spitting on officers, possession of a firearm by a felon, possession of marijuana, no insurance, obstructed windshield, multiple traffic violations. A minor traffic stop turned into a wild run through Forest City. But Colby Taylor's desperate attempt ended in cuffs, and with drugs, guns, and fleeing stacked against him, this late-night sprint may cost him years of freedom. October 29, 2024, Nashville, Tennessee. Around 1:30 a.m., Metro Nashville officers spotted a silver Dodge Challenger tearing down Korean Veterans Boulevard, swerving across lanes like the driver was auditioning for a Fast and Furious sequel. The driver, 22-year-old Carlos Esquivel. Officers tried to stop him, lights on, sirens blaring, but Esquivel wasn't having it. Instead, he put on a show. In the middle of the road, he cranked the wheel and started doing full-blown donuts. What followed was no stunt show finale. Just as police moved in to cut him off, Esquivel smashed head-on into a patrol vehicle. After the impact, he tried to run. Officers gave chase, but not long after, Esquivel chose to surrender. He was quickly taken into custody without further resistance and transported for booking. Carlos Esquivel was charged with aggravated assault on a police officer, reckless driving, evading arrest, leaving the scene of a crash from donuts to handcuffs in under 5 minutes. This late-night joyride ended exactly where it belonged, in jail. Thanks for riding the adrenaline wave with us here at Mind Rush. If you're hungry for more heart-pounding action and edge-of-your-seat excitement, don't go anywhere, because we're just getting started. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more mind-blowing moments coming your way soon.